Hello, this is what I've been working on for the past 2 months. I've made myself a log splitter. I spent some time looking at other log splitters, trying to figure out what design I wanted, how I wanted to do it. I kind of copied a Timberwolf TW5 somewhat, well, not too terribly much. At least I used their wedge like theirs instead of the European style, and I pretty much picked the components that they had and just built my splitter around them. So it's got a Honda 390 pull start with a 22 gallon per minute pump. It's got the 5-inch by 30-inch Prince hydraulic ram that it's got the auto cycle valve on it. So you pull both the levers. It automatically goes down, one pops back, it returns, the other pops back. Then after that, it goes into the flow control, so I can adjust the flow between the main valve, goes to power beyond, flow control, secondary valve. In the secondary valve, you got the log table up and down, and the 4-way up and down. Log table, 4-way. The push block is super heavily built. It's 3/4 inch steel with a 1/4 inch diamond plate welded on the front and ground down to look like 1-inch diamond plate. I also, just for the heck of it, I got a heavy duty abrasion wear resistant plastic to go in between the slide of the push block and the main beam, and also on the bottom, so the only thing that's hitting on the sides is metal, but on the top and the bottom is plastic, so there won't be any like metal on metal wear. I made a tube on the side you operate on, so when you're up standing on it and leaning on it, you're not on a hard edge, you're on a rounded tube, which I thought that was kind of nice. It's got a jack stand front and back, so whatever ground you're on, you can level it off, and it's not going to get all wobbly when you're working on it. It's not going to tip any direction. It's towable from front and back. It's got a removable log table. It just slides into a little bracket on either side. You can see there. Slides in, it can pin in and take it out. And when it's out, you can actually store it right here. It just drops right onto that, and it stands up here and kind of protects the engine and the tank if the vehicle is over here. It's in between them. I added a couple of gauges so I could tell the pressure. One right after the pump, it's kind of hard to see, in there, and then one on the main cylinder so I can adjust the gauge pressure from the valves. I made a cage around the engine, partially for protecting the engine, partially because I'm going to make a rubber housing that goes over that for travel, or if it has to stay outside. Preferably I'm going to store it inside, but that's probably not always going to be feasible. For the return lines, I made a multi-port manifold. So you have a return, the dump block return from the auto cycle, return and return. So it's the secondary valve return, first valve return, flow control return, and dump valve return. And then all those go into to the filter. I mounted the filter higher than the tank level so that if I need to change the filter, or when I change the filter, the oil is not going to go all pouring out. It will just go into the tank or into the manifold, so I won't be losing a ton of oil. The tank is a 30-gallon, made in America, hydraulic tank. I did put 30 gallons in there, and as you can see right there, the gauge is about halfway up, and that's because it took, I'd say, about 5 gallons to fill up all the hydraulic cylinders, the valves, and the hoses everywhere. The table is operated by a 12-inch long Prince cylinder, 1/4 inch line hoses, Made it and then played it with this. I put runners on it, so when the logs are sitting on it, when it's parallel to the ground, they don't vibrate off, because on a flat plate, logs will just vibrate off with the engine and they'll just fall off your table. I've had that happen. And I made these little nubs, put these on here, so when you get a log and you roll it up onto it, it doesn't roll off and you don't have to like stand there holding it. The four-way just got a cylinder over here. That's an 8-inch Prince hydraulic cylinder. I have it pinned on the top, unlike Timberwolf, and it seems to work pretty good. I've had it going up and down. It works better with lube on it, so there's some lithium grease on there right now. And this is the first log this splitter actually ever split, and it did it just fine, just above idle. I made this log table grate. It is 3 feet wide before it curves up, so it's pretty large actually, and it's not very light. It's quite heavy. Everything's quite heavy. Just the steel alone weighs 700 pounds. That's before any of the hydraulic hoses or engine, tank, filters, all that stuff. I made it so the filters were central, so you could operate the table from this side if you had to. So if you had to get a log onto it and then lift it up, you can do it from over here. And the four-way is operatable too, but that's kind of useless. The lines look like a big nasty mess. It's pretty much the only way I could run them with mounting my valves upside down, because I wanted the main hose to go into the main valve. So you're not flowing all your power, your hydraulic fluid, through your secondary valve first. So it flows into this one, and then into this, and into this. And that's how you're supposed to run them. But for me to do that without putting the auto cycle on the other side, I had to flip them over. So that's why they're all upside down. But it works out just fine. I went with bigger tires and wheels because I wanted to be able to move it around my yard easily. That's 15 inches for the tires and wheels. Makes it easier to roll, better over bumps and stuff. I made the axle, and cut out the steel and welded it together. The ends of the beam are boxed. It's an 8x8, 40 pounds a foot H-beam. I boxed the ends. This end's got actually totally squared. It's like totally went around for extra support. It's a removable tongue. You just remove it, you flip it around, and then it ends up in the middle going the other way, so it's out of the way for everything. So I spent quite a bit of time on this. The engine cage, everything's down here. The pump goes underneath the beam. Clearance is good 3/4 inch clearance there, and an inch between the pump and the tank. And everything is square tubing or solid, which these are actually just square tubing that I capped, ground over. It's just square tubing capped. I tried to cap everything, and so there wouldn't be any moisture inside. This is all just squared, capped, so to keep out any moisture and try to protect it. I have this runner right here. I don't know if you've ever seen any other log splitters. Normally what happens is you tip the log up, it goes in here, and the cradle, in my opinion, aren't that well made, so you have to hold the log where you want it. This one, it tips it up, the log table, it'll bump it over this, and once it gets over this, it's inside the log table, it's not going anywhere. So you don't really have to touch it. It just goes into the middle. My main wedge is 16 inches tall, and the four-way has got an 8-inch front with 12-inch wings, so it's quite large and it's quite heavy. And it has an 8-inch throw, so you can go up to from 4 inches off the table to 12 inches off the table. So you'd be able to split a 24-inch round into 4 equal parts, which I'll have to see if this will do that. That'll be quite something. All right. Well, thanks for watching.